What's your stage name so I can look you up?
King Harris.
King Harris?
You know T.I.?
Huh?
T.I.?
Who's that?
That's my father.
No, I know.
Wait till I get back and see him. Wait till I slap a alright, yeah. Yeah, wait. Wait till I come back in the market late night. And then it's just you and I you up.
Children gonna be children. Kids will be kids, man. You know what I'm saying? I expect that from them. I expect them.
Word on the street is that King Harris's reckless mouth may have finally written a check he can't afford to cash. The son of trap pioneer Clifford T.I. Harris Jr. has always danced around trouble, but one late-night drive through the suburbs pushed him straight into the spotlight, landing headlines from TMZ to Hip Hop DX. Since then, the fallout hasn't slowed down. It all began like an ordinary October night in 2024. King, just 20 years old, behind the wheel of a black BMW, pulling out of a gas station in Duney, Georgia.
And that you weren't allowed to turn left right there because it's separated by those double yellow lines. I got you. Do you have your license on you?
But when he almost sideswiped the police cruiser, blue lights lit up the night, and in seconds the vibe flipped from calm to chaotic. The cops pulled up thinking it was just a routine traffic violation. Instead, they found the son of Atlanta hip-hop royalty, with loud weed in the car, a firearm on his hip, and a live warrant in the system ready to take him down. Body cam footage, which wouldn't surface online until 2025, captured everything. King stayed cool, hands visible, talking smooth, even as officers caught the smell of gas and the sight of steel.
I smell some weed in the car, so our procedure is we gotta check it. Is there anything else that I need to be aware of?
I don't want y'all to check the car.
I can't hear you.
I don't want y'all to search the car.
Well, I understand that, but if I smell weed, that's probable cause to search the vehicle.
You're not gonna find nothing. You're gonna find my guns.
Just multiple guns?
I got a stick, an AR.
The real shock hit when they ran his name and uncovered an active bench warrant out of Pickens County for skipping a 2022 court date linked to earlier traffic charges: speeding, driving under the influence, and operating on a suspended license. Minor stuff on paper, but ignoring the court notice turned it into a legal tripwire. Once the warrant was confirmed, the cuffs came out. Just like that, King Harris, who had spent years online trying to prove his street credibility, was riding in the back of a patrol car. His suburban stunt had turned into viral content. For T.I., it was the nightmare he'd been warning about all along. The trap pioneer turned businessman had openly told anyone willing to listen that his son was playing with fire, chasing a lifestyle he didn't need to touch. T.I. knew that life firsthand. His career was forged in hustling, a federal weapons case, and enough courtroom drama to last a lifetime. He built his family empire to shield his kids from those same mistakes. But King never wanted the safe, gated world his parents had given him.
I'm like a cool kid. I don't want anything to come out of this, so let's just make sure that the warrant's valid and go from there, okay?
That tension boiled over publicly in 2023 during a Falcons game, when King clashed with his dad in front of fans and cameras, shouting that he wasn't raised with silver spoons and had spent more time at his grandmother's gritty house than in the Harris mansion. For King, it was all about proving authenticity. For T.I., it was pure frustration, a son rejecting the stability he had fought to provide. The clip went viral, flipping a private father-son conflict into a running joke across social media. So when King was arrested months later with weed, a gun, and an old warrant, it felt like prophecy fulfilled. T.I.'s warnings had finally come to life in the public eye, and the internet wasted no time clowning both father and son.
They did confirm it, so the warrant is valid and they do want you.
Well,
and now that I'm thinking about it, I want you to make sure that you know your rights. I'm gonna read your Miranda real quick. Just give me 1 sec. Just gonna read you your Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law.
But here's where the story got layered. Despite the weed smell and the firearm, Georgia law meant neither brought major new charges. King was licensed to carry, and small amounts of marijuana usually mean a ticket, not a prison stretch. By the very next day, October 15, 2024, the warrant was recalled, and King walked free from jail. Legally, it was nothing more than a blip. Culturally, it was an earthquake. Hip-hop blogs, gossip sites, and Twitter timelines lit up. TMZ ran with T.I.'s son arrested. Guns and weed found. Hot New Hip Hop framed it as another rapper's kid chasing street points. Atlanta Black Star called him out for trying too hard to be a thug.
I would appreciate more than anything right now is to be able to make a phone call. So when we get there, we can already be figured out.
To who? Who are you trying to make a phone call to?
I'm trying to make a phone call to my pop.
Meanwhile, fans picked apart the body cam footage. Some clowned him for trying to act tough, while others sympathized with a young man who stayed calm and respectful, even as he looked genuinely confused about the warrant. It was a rare, humanizing glimpse at a kid usually seen flexing online, suddenly asking officers if he could call his dad. The clip became a viral case study in father-son dynamics, a privileged but conflicted kid caught between wanting independence and still needing his father's help. But the way the streets talked about it wasn't the same as the way the blogs did.
He's about to have a son.
King's about to have a son. Congrats.
Yeah. And I told him I'm gonna make this the greatest gangster of all times. I will raise this child to torture you the way that you torture me.
As soon as the footage surfaced in 2025, rumors spread like wildfire. Whispers claimed King got jumped in county, sentenced to years inside, or that T.I. was calling in favors to shield him from gang politics behind bars. None of it was confirmed, but in hip-hop culture, the rumor mill often hits harder than the facts. The story became less about what truly happened and more about what it symbolized: a rap son chasing realness and landing in the same danger zone his father once escaped. For T.I., this wasn't just another PR mess. It was personal. Publicly, his comments stayed brief, but insiders said he was making calls behind the scenes, checking with lawyers, smoothing things over wherever needed. After a decade of reinventing himself as a mogul, TV personality, and father figure, he now had to watch his son risk it all for street credibility. That had to cut deep. Meanwhile, King was living a parallel story the public couldn't ignore. He stepped into fatherhood at the exact same time his relationship with his dad was cracking. Just weeks after the arrest, on November 5, 2024, King and longtime girlfriend Jania Big Nana EPS welcomed their first child. King Jr. 1 month is in cuffs asking to call his dad. The next is holding his own son and posting, "Welcome, King Jr., time to take over." It was a wild twist, life moving faster than any headline. A young man caught between clout chasing and real responsibility. T.I. even cracked jokes about it in a Hot 107.9 interview, but beneath the humor was the weight of a cycle repeating. A father who once fought to escape the streets was now watching his son flirt with the same fire while stepping into fatherhood himself. King's arrest may have been short-lived on paper, but it triggered an emotional earthquake inside one of hip-hop's most famous families. 4 years, T.I. has been a man split in two. The hustler-turned-legend who once rapped about guns and survival, and the father determined to keep his kids far from the life that nearly swallowed him. That duality makes his clash with King feel bigger than just one messy night in Dawoodi. Every time King goes viral flashing burners or talking tough, you can almost feel T.I.'s frustration. He spent his career clawing out of the trap, building mansions, reality shows, and businesses to give his kids better options, and his own son keeps reaching back toward the very streets he fought to leave behind. So when King went viral at the Falcons game, screaming he wasn't raised soft and spent his childhood at his grandmother's gritty house, it wasn't just a random outburst. It was the cry of a young man desperate to shake the silver spoon label that haunts every rap kid born into success. Hip-hop culture worships authenticity. Fans love a come-up story. But what happens when your father already made it, leaving you nothing gritty to claim? King has been trying to answer that since the first time he picked up a mic. The Falcons game meltdown was just one chapter in a bigger father-son war fought in public. Clips of the argument spread like memes, fans picking sides. Some backed T.I., saying he'd earned the right to lecture. Others defended King, seeing him as a young man fighting to stand on his own. Behind the laughs, though, was something raw, a son pushing back against protection, and a father terrified his child was racing toward danger just to prove his real. T.I. knows how fast keeping it real can get you killed or locked up. In 2009, he spent a year in federal prison on gun charges. Before that, he was constantly dodging cases and beefs. He lived the life King only imitates on Instagram. But instead of listening, King seems determined to test the same streets his father barely survived. That tension plays out in every headline, every Instagram live, every leaked argument. And because this is the Harris family, nothing stays private. They are hip-hop royalty with a side of reality TV fame, their dynasty on display for years through shows like T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle. So when King slips up, it's not just gossip blogs, it's mainstream media, fans, and even people outside hip-hop weighing in. The October arrest became a full-blown spectacle because the world already felt invested.
We've watched King grow up on camera. We've seen T.I. preach fatherhood and redemption.
So when the problem child narrative caught fire, it fit too perfectly to ignore. Suddenly King wasn't just a kid with an old bench warrant, he was a symbol of the struggle every famous family faces, keeping kids grounded when the culture worships street credibility. But King's choices aren't just random rebellion, they are calculated moves in a battle for identity. In hip-hop, being the child of a legend is both blessing and curse. The doors open faster, but the judgment hits harder. Look at Coi Leray facing comparisons to Benzino, or Lil Romeo trying to escape Master P's shadow. King knows this, and has even spoken on it, once comparing his relationship with T.I. to Ghost and Tariq from Power. The father who built an empire to save his son, and the son who sees protection as control. That's exactly what fans saw in the Falcons clip, and again in the body cam footage where King, still holding on to pride, asked if he could call his dad. It's a power struggle drenched in love but twisted by ego, fame, and hip-hop's obsession with realness.
The irony is brutal.
Every move King makes to prove he's not a spoiled kid gets flipped back on him as proof that he is. When he flashes guns online, critics say he's cosplaying gangster life from a mansion. When he's arrested, blogs call it a stunt gone wrong. When he raps about pain and struggle, people question if he's lived it.
That cycle traps him.
The harder he fights to step out of his father's shadow, the deeper the internet frames him as T.I.'s privileged but reckless son. And because social media feeds on spectacle, his missteps go viral faster than his music ever does. His 2024 single Dear Son, released after the birth of his own child, drew attention, but not just for the bars. Fans tuned in to see if the mugshot kid would show growth, regret, or just more defiance.
The art keeps drowning under the drama.
For T.I., that's heartbreaking. He's not just protecting a brand, he's a father watching his warnings play out in real time. Insiders say when King was arrested, T.I. didn't explode online because he was busy handling business quietly, calling lawyers, checking with clerks, even reaching out to street contacts to keep things from escalating.
He knows too well how one bad night can change everything.
But he also knows there's only so much a father can do when his grown son insists on walking the hard road.
Publicly, T.I. plays it cool.
Privately, it's a different story. And yet, despite all the chaos, there's a layer of vulnerability that keeps this saga from being just another celebrity train wreck. The moment King became a father changed the stakes. Suddenly, the kid chasing authenticity had a son watching his every move. T.I., who once went to prison before turning his life around, now sees his own journey mirrored, faster, messier, and online for the whole world. The question is whether fatherhood will slow King down or push him deeper into the pressure cooker of proving himself.
Social media loves to clown him, but there's real humanity here.
A young man stuck between the privilege he hates and the streets he doesn't fully understand.
And a father torn between love and tough love.
Fans eat it up because it's more than gossip, it's a modern hip-hop fable. Fame bought safety, but safety doesn't sell records or respect. T.I. built an empire so his son wouldn't struggle, and now that very comfort is what King resents. Parents see themselves in T.I., trying to guide kids who won't listen. Young fans see themselves in King, fighting to prove independence even if it hurts. That's why every clip goes viral. Every mugshot becomes a meme. Every father-son spat sparks a think piece.
This isn't just about T.I. and King.
It's about what happens when hip-hop's first generation of moguls raises kids in a world that still worships struggle. King now stands at the heaviest crossroads of his young life. One path keeps him trapped in the cycle: viral mugshots, Instagram lives full of bravado, and a music career drowned out by gossip blogs. The other path is harder but more powerful: growing up, embracing fatherhood, and carving a lane that proves he's more than T.I.'s wild son. The birth of King Jr. could be the turning point, the moment that forces him to rethink chasing street points. Becoming a dad at 20 isn't easy for anyone, but under the spotlight, it's life-changing. Overnight, the internet's favorite troublemaker became someone's father. That responsibility can either build him or break him. Every choice King makes now echoes louder, not just because of the media, but because a child will grow up watching it all. If he channels his mistakes into music, he has a real chance to flip the narrative.
Hip-hop has always respected pain turned into art.
We've seen artists like Meek Mill and 21 Savage turn legal trouble into storytelling that fans connect with. King's October 2024 arrest, his public fights with T.I., the endless online jokes, those are raw ingredients for authentic records if he's willing to be vulnerable.
His song Dear Son hinted at that maturity.
But one song isn't enough. He'll need consistency, honesty, and music that feels lived, not borrowed.
Controversy brings clicks. Respect builds careers.
And respect is the only currency that can free him from being just T.I.'s kid.
Still, the challenge is massive. Hip-hop is brutal to rap royalty.
If you're born into fame, people expect either greatness or failure, nothing in between.
Coy Leary fought it. Jaden Smith fought it. Diggy Simmons fought it.
Now King fights it while also navigating a culture that prizes danger and struggle. The same fans who clown him for privilege demand proof is real.
It's a trap with no easy exit.
Too privileged to be street.
Too street to be polished. Too famous to be normal. Too unknown to be legendary. His father's shadow only makes it heavier.
Platinum albums, hit singles, reality TV, businesses, T.I.'s legacy is massive, and every step King takes gets measured against it.
Even his mistakes aren't his alone.
They reflect back on his father, turning family drama into trending topics. That weight explains some of his desperate reach for authenticity.
But fatherhood could flip the script.
Raising a child cuts through ego. It forces focus. T.I. himself has admitted fatherhood was part of why he reinvented after prison. King now has the same chance to stop proving his tough and start proving his present, responsible, and creative. Hip-hop loves a redemption arc almost as much as it loves drama. If King can turn his story from reckless son of a legend into a young dad and artist who grew up in public, fans might finally root for him instead of roasting him. The clout-chasing cycle doesn't have to define him forever. He can turn the pain of being misunderstood into something undeniable. The bigger picture is this: King's choices will ripple far beyond his own career. They'll shape how the culture views hip-hop dynasties. T.I. was one of the first trap artists to build generational wealth and put fatherhood on TV. If King rises, it proves rap mogul's kids can stumble, learn, and still build greatness. If he falls deeper into trouble, it feeds the cynical narrative that the second generation can't handle the pressure.
That's why people care.
Because this isn't just gossip, it's the growing pains of hip-hop's next era.
And the spotlight isn't leaving.
Every post, every song, every live stream will be dissected. If King brags about street life, the internet will drag him. If he gets conscious, they'll question his authenticity. If he goes silent, rumors will fill the gap. That's the reality of growing up famous in 2025. Your identity becomes content whether you like it or not. But King does control one thing: his actions. A focused grind, solid music, staying clear of unnecessary beef, and embracing fatherhood could slowly rewrite his reputation. People love a comeback even more than a crash.
The story is his to tell.
In the end, this saga isn't just about one arrest or some rumors. It's about a father and son caught between two worlds.
One who fought his way out of the trap.
And one trying to prove his real, without seeing the danger he's chasing. It's about cycles. How kids of legend search for identity, how fame can feel like a cage, and how love between father and son gets tested under a microscope. King Harris still has time to grow, to flip the narrative, to become more than a viral headline. The question is whether he'll take that chance, or keep running toward a street image that will never love him back. Either way, the world will be watching. Every step he takes, as an artist, a father, and a man, will decide if his story ends in redemption or regret.
Will he stay the reckless kid chasing clout?
Or will he embrace the weight of his last name and build something real?
Only time will tell.
But one thing's already clear: King Harris isn't just living in T.I.'s shadow anymore. He's writing the next chapter of a hip-hop dynasty, and the ending depends on him.